Hey everyone, how's it going? Thanks so much for tuning in. For those of you who followed the channel for a while now, know that my daily driver for the past 3.5 years has been this 2012 Dodge Charger RT Max. In fact, I just uploaded a 40,000 mile in-depth review, so if you'd like to see it a bit more up close, check out the link in the top right hand corner of the video. Over the time I've owned this car, I haven't done any modifications to it, but I've always secretly wanted to update the exhaust system. The Charger has a pretty decent setup from the factory, but I really wanted to unleash a more aggressive sound, so I'm finally breaking down and doing that. I picked up a Borla S-type exhaust. I've been researching different setups for the last 6 months, and this seemed to be a natural fit based on the type of sound quality and like the refinement and stuff that I was looking for, so I'm really excited to get it installed. During this video, we're going to unbox the package, check out all the contents inside, we're going to get the exhaust installed on the car and show the ease of process and everything, as well as talk about some before and after impressions. As you guys have seen in some previous pure sound videos, I will also be shooting one of those on this car in the very near future that does in-depth sound comparison clips before and after with on-track acceleration, daily driving, and all of that kind of stuff to try to give you the best perspective possible if you're looking for a similar setup on your Charger RT. So without further ado, let's go ahead and crack open the box and get started. Alright, so let's check out the package contents. Everything that's in that box is now on the table right now. It's a lot simpler than I thought it was going to be, and it all really appears high quality. It's a catback system, so it replaces all the stock stuff from the catalytic converters all the way to the back. It uses the factory exhaust hangers, and aside from that, there's no bolts or anything like that. All the pipes just go in place, and there's 6 clamps that you would put like around the joints and stuff, but we'll see all that when we actually get it installed. You can do all of this yourself, and I really was considering on doing it, but because I wanted to make this demonstration video, you really need a proper lift, so we're going to go to a local dealership I know really well, and they're going to allow us to film there and stuff and really get up close and personal with it. But Borla includes very detailed color instructions for doing the car. This is quite nice, so if we really wanted to do it here, we could jack up the car, put it on some ramps or something like that and do it. I don't see any problem with that at all. And they actually, you know, one of my dream cars is the new Charger SRT and the Hellcat and stuff, and they actually make an exhaust system for that now, which if you guys have seen my previous videos on both of the Hellcats, the Charger and the Challenger, they already sound just absolutely insane, so I can only imagine what that sounds like. But yeah, I'm super excited to get this started. Just taking a close look at some of the pipes and stuff. Like I said, all the welds and everything seem to be really high quality. It's got good weight to it, and supposedly it uses like a higher grade of chromium and nickel within the stainless steel, so just to give it a little bit of extra corrosion protection. Borla actually has a 1,000,000-mile warranty with all their exhaust systems, which is pretty nice. I don't know if I'll get that car to 1,000,000 before I can upgrade it, but that's definitely pretty cool. And all the mufflers have Borla stamped on it, both sides, which is a nice little touch of quality. So let's go ahead and hop in the car. We'll strap up some GoPros and talk about the factory system, what we kind of expect to see when we put the exhaust system on. We'll get it installed, then we'll strap the GoPros back up and see what it's like afterwards. So stay tuned, guys. I'd like to extend a big thanks and special shout out to North Point Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram in Winston-Salem, North Carolina for allowing me to film the installation. For more information about the dealership and current inventory, please feel free to check out their website provided in the description box below. Alright guys, we're back in the service department at North Point. We're about to start disassembling the factory setup, but before we do that, I wanted to show you guys the lower section of the rear fascia. Right here you have 2 exhaust finishers, and that comes on every Charger, including the 2015-2016 models. The rear section of the muffler right here just has a little pipe that sits into the exhaust finisher, so this is not part of the exhaust. So the Borla setup does not replace the factory exhaust finishers, so the pipe will still sit in between here, so to an untrained eye, the car still looks completely factory. Alright, so before we start installing the exhaust, we're going to start it up with just open cats. I've always wanted to hear what it sounded like, relatively unfiltered, so this is going to be awesome.
Want to wrap after this? Slide the clamps over your X pipe, and we're going to install that next. Not a very long section. Put the clamps in place, but we're not going to tighten anything until we get everything lined up. Okay, on the stock exhaust, we're going to remove the hangers from the stock one. The insulators, they're very difficult to get to in the car, but this, it bolts to the chassis right here. So we're going to swap these to the Borla, and then we'll be able to bolt them back in easier. A little spray to lubricate the rubber, make it easier to go back in. Everything's installed and hanging by the hangers. We just now to double check the alignment of all the exhausts before we tighten the clamps. Sometimes we have a problem with the exhaust hitting the crossbar, so we're going to go ahead and tighten this up, and then we'll loosen the clamps again and try to reposition this so that it's not touching and causing a rattle noise.
There you go, proper clearance. Alright guys, so the exhaust system is now installed. We have not started it up yet. We'll do that next. I'm going to give you a quick summary of what we did, give you a close look at the final product. I'll try to keep this short because I'm really excited to hear it start up. So basically, as you can see, the stainless steel pipes are running all the way back to the factory pipes right here that connect to the catalytic converters that then go up to the headers. You can do this yourself in your driveway if you're talented enough and you have help. I highly recommend doing it with another person, especially when it comes to removing the factory exhaust, because there's a huge, like massive section that runs from here all the way to the back. There's a smaller detachable portion. So it'll definitely make it a lot easier with having another person, and probably safer too. So as long as you have proper ramps at your house, you can put the car on it and do it just fine. It'll be a little bit more difficult probably. The best scenario obviously is to have a lift like this, so big thanks to North Point for allowing us to come out here and do this. Really the main things are the two cross members right here that you have to remove. Obviously with these exhaust systems, you're gonna have to maybe do some adjustments here and there with being handmade and all that good stuff. The only real things that we had to do on this was to make clearance for the cross members right here, because when we got everything test fitted and everything, there wasn't really enough clearance between these two beams. So basically the gentleman had to undo these pipes right here, back up towards the engine, like where they connect to the headers, and that allowed him to get more freedom with this, put everything back on and everything. That gave perfect clearance for the front one, but for right here, he had to put two body shims under each bolt and stuff, which still has plenty of structural integrity right like that. You don't lose anything as far as that's concerned, but it gave the proper clearance to put your fingers under so nothing will rattle or anything like that. But the setup looks fantastic. I mean, the stainless steel pipes are nice and pretty. We cleaned them up, removed a lot of the big fingerprints and everything. But other than that, it was pretty self-explanatory. Everything is using the factory rubber hangers and everything. The ground strap went on just fine. But yeah, that's about it. So instead of me rambling, let's go ahead and lower it down and see how it sounds for the first time. That sounds awesome. Alright guys, so I got the exhaust put on a few days ago. I've been driving it around, just getting a whole feel for the system and everything. So I wanted to go ahead and shoot this portion of the video to close everything out, let you know my impressions like before and after, and how the note changed, and if there's any drone and all that kind of stuff. So as you guys saw with the installation, it was pretty straightforward overall. It's definitely a whole lot easier having a lift. I mean, you can do it yourself in the driveway, but almost a necessity is having somebody there to help you, especially for removing the larger sections of the exhaust system. But the note change, I'm really quite pleased with it, actually. I mean, I don't know how they did it, but Borla engineered this exhaust with no drone. I mean, zero. I haven't noticed anywhere, and I can't believe it. Regardless if you're going 30 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour, 80 miles an hour, it doesn't matter. Just when you accelerate, it's just extra aggression. That's it. It's only loud when you want it to be. Otherwise, it's very comparable to factory. It's a little bit louder. You get that extra rumble and stuff, but it still is quiet enough that it feels like a factory system. I guess similar to like the SRTs and stuff that we've driven previously. You get that extra sound, but it's engineered to such a high degree that it doesn't feel cheap. When you're buying an exhaust, I mean, an exhaust is a pretty good investment, and that's the reason I wanted to make these videos in the beginning, because I wanted to give you guys the best perspective possible, that if you were looking to buy a similar setup, which usually costs $1,000, $1,500 or so, depending on what type of exhaust and what manufacturer you go with, you want to make sure your money is getting like spent worthwhile, you know. So I'm extremely happy with the S-Type setup. If you want that extra aggression but don't want something that's just stupid loud, this is a great compromise. I mean, listen to this thing. It's awesome. Especially coming down. I mean, man, what a change. The other thing too is the 4-cylinder activation. You know, the multi-displacement system, when it goes from 8 cylinders to 4 cylinders when you're cruising around. A lot of people will, when you put an exhaust system on, a lot of times it will make that more loud, or the feedback, the resonating sound or whatever. And I'm happy to report that it's really not that bad at all. There's a little bit of, it's just an extra hum. It sounds like a little subwoofer is going on in the background, but it's not enough to disturb the interior environment or anything like that. It's just like how it was factory. It's just a bit more pronounced, and I actually think it's kind of cool overall. So I'm happy with that. I hope this video has been helpful to you guys. Of course, I'm always happy to answer any and all questions in the description box below, so if you have any, post them away. Of course, I'll have that in-depth pure sound overview with cold starts before and after the installation and everything like that. So if you like exhaust sounds and everything, that video is definitely going to be for you. So you'll really hear the true difference between the factory setup and this one. As always, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. There's always a lot more where that came from. Take care.